In Lekutei Sichos, many times you have ha'oris with a star. In other words, l'moshel, if there's ha'ora 17, could be ha'ora after that. Instead of being ha'ora 18, is ha'ora 17 star, and then comes ha'ora 18. What is the reason for it? Because the Rebbe was Magiyah the Sicha twice. After the Rebbe was Magiyah the first time and all the ha'oras were finished and everything, they would give it to the printer to typeset, and he would typeset with the ha'oras, with the numbers and everything, and then he would print it out on a long sheet called Gelis, and it was given into the Rebbe a second time to be Magiyah. And the second time, many times the Rebbe would add more ha'oras. So if he added a ha'ora, let's say between ha'ora 17 and ha'ora 18, really what should have been done? The new ha'ora should become ha'ora 18, the next one should become 19, etc., and go on till the end. The problem was, in those days, before the time of the computer, every time you had to fix a letter, a word, a number, you had to take out the metal that was there for the whole line. And in this case, you would have to take out all the lines that are from that ha'ora and on to change their numbers. It was a big job. It could cause more mistakes, etc. So the best thing was to insert it in the right place, between ha'ora 17 and 18, where it belongs, but call it ha'ora 17 star, for instance. This problem was only there when they had the regular printing. When they became with the computers, this problem doesn't exist anymore, because now with one push of a button, you could automatically change all the numbers. So that taka changed. That if the Rebbe added the ha'ora in the second hagoah, that ha'ora became the next number, and all the numbers were changed. The only thing is that sometimes, after the likud was printed already, the Rebbe would add ha'ora. In the next likud, the Rebbe would write a hashmota that in the previous likud, there has to be this ha'ora added. So that became the number with the star. And even later on, when that sicha went into the sefer, it also stayed with the star. Because before that, they would sometimes refer to the different ha'oras, so they referred to it in the old numbers, and now if the numbers would change, it would confuse it, so they would keep it with the star. Also, sometimes there was a new ha'ora added with a star in the sefer, because if there was another sicha in a later time that spoke about the same inyan, so sometimes the Vad would, in the earlier volume, the next Hitzoah, put in a ha'ora with a star, a very technical thing. Look at the Sichos, that, and the same inyan. So that was also a ha'ora with a star. But sometimes would be even more. Sometimes the Rebbe would write something to change or make a ha'ora in a previous volume that's printed years before. I'm going to give an example to that from Parshas Ba'al Leischo. In Parshas Ba'al Leischo, in Chelik Daled, the Rebbe talks about the connection between the Mon and Shabbos. And he quotes what it says in Sefer Ha'itim, in the name of Reb Sadia Gaon, that when you're Shabbos in a far place and you forgot which parsha it is, you should read the Parshas Hamon. And the way it was written in Chelik Daled, and that's how it stayed for many years, was these words. It said there, Sol men leinen Parshas Hamon, while Parshas Hamon nemra b'Shabbos. You should read Parshas Hamon because Parshas Hamon was said on Shabbos. And that's it. In Tov Shel Amud Ches, when the Sicha for Shabbos Parshas B'Shalach came out, and they were preparing the Likud, it spoke about the same sugya, about the same meaning, the connection between the Mon and Shabbos. So as this thing was going on with the Rebbe being Magiyah, the Rebbe wrote that in Chelik Dalet, because in Lekutei Sichos there, in that Likud, for that Parsha, which is in Lekutei Sichos Chelik Tezai and Sicha Gimel to Parshas B'Shalach, this Lekutei Sichos of Chelik Dalet is mentioned. So the Rebbe wrote that we have to change something in Chelik Dalet. And he changed the words like this. It should say like this. After it says that if you don't know which parsha it is, you should read Parshas Hamon. So it says, "Vos yesh eimrim dem tam val Parshas Hamon nemra b'Shabbos." That some say that the reason is because Parshas Hamon was said on Shabbos. And then he added the ha'ora, Oy shabon nitztava ala Shabbos, or that in this Parshas Hamon, that's where Hashem gave us the commandment of Shabbos. So this is to take the place, instead of it saying that you should read the Parshas Hamon, while Parshas Hamon nemra b'Shabbos, because Parshas Hamon was said in Shabbos, the Rebbe changed it to Yesh Eimrim Dem Tam. Some say the reason because Parshas Hamon was said on Shabbos, and the Ha'ora 17 star, Eisha Bon Nitztav Ala Shabbos, or because in the Parsha of Mon, that's when Hashem told us about Shabbos. So here we see an example of something that the Rebbe changed even years later to something that was already printed years before. And if you look in the first Hitzoes of Chelik Daled, it says the original way, the way I said. And the later Hitzoes, it's changed, and it says these words, Yesh Eimin Dem Tam Val Parshas Hamon Ember B'Shabbos, and there's Ha'ora 17, Eish Shabon Nitztav Al Shabbos. And then, in the later Heitzah, the Vad added, after Ha'ara 18, added Ha'ara 18 star, and there they added the words that you should look up in Chelik, Lekutei Sichos, Chelik Tezayin, to this Sicha that I just mentioned before. Because this Sicha talks about the same minyan, so they put into Chelik Dalet a Ha'ara, which is 18 star, to look up the Sicha in Chelik Tezayin, which talks about the same minyan.